This is a result of came down from the special counsel. I know you've had experience with this in the past. I mean, talk about that whole system through which these charges came about. Does it make
Well,
sense?
it's a terrible system, a terrible system. Special counsel is appointed, by the Attorney General of the United States. It used to be independent counsel, appointed by 3 judges. The whole system is totally distorted. We ought to move toward a system that they have in most other democracies, which divides the function of Attorney General into 2. One, the political advisor to the president, a member of his cabinet, a loyal person to him, and the other, the chief prosecutor. In England, for example, there's a minister of justice who's the advisor of the prime minister, and then there's the director of public prosecution. The same thing is true in Israel. The same thing is true in many other countries. But here we merge those roles, which is why we need special counsel, independent counsel, and all of those inadequate mechanisms for trying to show that we're really doing justice here. The American public is not going to be convinced that this is a nonpartisan justice, because if you're going to prosecute the man who's running against the incumbent president, if the attorney general is going to approve an indictment against the man who's running 44-44, according to New York Times polls, the indictment has to be so strong, so beyond dispute. And this indictment doesn't come close to meeting that standard.
There's been a lot of attention on the judges in these various cases. The most recent, this particular case, the judge is an Obama appointee. I know in other cases it has been a Trump appointee. These are randomly picked to some extent, but talk about the importance of who the judge is and whether that impacts how the public perceives this case.
This is the worst possible judge to sit on this case. Her experience all comes from being a lawyer in the Boies Schiller firm, which is a firm that has been accused often of corrupt misconduct. I got them disqualified in a case recently in which I was on the other side. It's a highly partisan Democratic firm, which pays money. In one case, they contributed a lot of money to the district attorney of Manhattan and got him to drop an investigation, in my opinion, at least. So her experience in the Boies Schiller firm, I think, disqualifies her from the appearance of justice. People will know that this is unfair. She's also been very, very tough on the demonstrators on January 6th. So I can't imagine a worse judge than this one. And I can't imagine a worse place to try this case than the most extreme anti-Trump district in the United States of America, Washington, D.C. This case should be transferred to a different judge in Virginia or West Virginia or some purple state where you can get fair justice. I don't think that the American public will see that justice has been done with this judge and this venue.
Do you think the judge in the documents case we referred to earlier, which is in Florida, is that equally problematic? That one is an appointee from Trump himself.
I don't think it's the appointment. I think it's the background.
Okay.
I don't think that the judge in Florida has shown any real bias in favor of Trump. And we'll wait and see whether this judge shows bias against Trump. But I'm very suspicious of her background in that law firm particularly.